Hey, me and Shane, Gemini Garage, and we're going to put this thing together today. I'm going to call this video Revenge of the Cart. The last cart I put together, it was a long video. It was a good video, but really, really long. So this is a Harbor Freight Franklin brand cart, 58323, 500 pound capacity, and it's a 36 by 24. So going to have a little bit of wind here, but that's okay. I'm not going to do a ton of talking, so you're like, yeah, right. So all right, let's get with it and get this thing together. Stick with me. Okay, first thing, grab the utility knife, always. All right. Okay. Stapled shut. This is basically kind of a lid that comes off of here. And here we go. So I'm going to guess this is probably going to be the bottom here. We'll take that out and set that over here. And obviously that's the handle. Ooh, wow, they give you a nice plastic case for the hardware here. Probably the casters, probably the legs, and probably the, well, this might be the bottom. I'm not sure which one's the top and which one's the bottom. This one's probably the bottom. Guessing. Alright. And there are some instructions here. We don't need those. Yeah, right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's the top. And this one's the bottom, because the bottom has these imprints here for the legs to go in. I don't know if you can see that there, but I'll get a close-up of this a little later. But anyways, okay. Get this cardboard out of the way here. Throw these away real quick. Okay, so let's open up the hardware box here real quick. Yep. Yep. Set of legs. Hold on. Legs. Remember the commercial? Nothing beats a great pair of legs. Of course, they were talking about 2 legs, not 4 legs, but then again, it is 2025, so. Okay. Alright, that looks simple enough. Remember the last one looked pretty simple too, but I found a way to botch it, and I got the legs all mixed up, and let's see how these legs are marked. Seems like a 1 and a 2. Other than that, they don't seem to have any distinguishable differences. Of course, that doesn't mean they don't, but from what I can see, and the casters. I would say the same thing about these casters that I did the other ones. Probably good for a hard, smooth surface. Something like this driveway over time might tear them up a little because they're kind of a rubber. And maybe, I mean, it's not going to fall off of there and get all crappy, I don't think. It's just, I think these would probably be better for a hard, smooth surface like a kitchen floor, smooth garage floor, wood floor, you know. But again, that's just my personal opinion on that there. Otherwise, they look like they're pretty decent casters. So, and again, these size casters are all kind of a standard size bolt pattern. So you can go and get different size casters, or I mean, different material casters and different design if you want to bolt those on instead. So just an FYI there. And I'm going to guess these things probably share bolts with these here. Okay, well, there you go. That's a pretty simple bunch of parts right there. You've got your top, your bottom, your forelegs, your handle, and your four casters, and your hardware kit. This is a really nice touch for the hardware kit. Keeping it in this plastic like that, that's a really nice touch there. So, okay, set this stuff aside here. I'm actually going to take a second to look at the instructions here. It really doesn't have a, I mean, it just says place the base of the four legs into the corners of the lower tray, the flange of the post of the corner, insert the bolts down through there, also attach the carriage bolts using split washers, and then it just basically kind of shows you how to put the casters on the bottom of those bolts through there. So okay. Oh, and you know another really cool thing. Oh, but you know what? This is actually a really good opportunity to show you the cool thing that I was going to show you, and that is, except for these screws, all these bolts are the same. So it's not like I got these all mixed up, and you know, they're all the same. Thank God. So, okay, well, after I just had the bejesus scared out of me, I didn't realize it was this thing over here that fell, and that was a really loud, I mean, it was almost like it was like a firecracker went off right here, because the air that came from it and the noise, it was just kind of like, So, as I was saying, nice to have all these in here, although you might want to be careful because the, alright, so, again, these are all the same size, very cool. And then these screws are all the same size here, very cool. So not a lot of stuff to get mixed up, and that's always good. Okay. So I'm gonna guess we're gonna want to to make sure I got these legs right here. Doesn't show that they're any different. Okay, yeah, leg left, leg right. Which one's left and which one's right? I guess well, I don't see any other way that they're marked. So, let's see here. These things basically have tracks here, and they slide down into there. And then on this end, they got like a nub for the top tray to sit on. No rubber mallet with this one. Okay. I'm going to guess as long as we got whatever we're going to need to... it looks like you pretty much bolt the cart onto the top tray there, so I don't think the leg thing... I mean, it says left and right, but I'm not sure how you're going to discern which is which exactly. I'm just going to have to try it. Like I said, this leg's got a little mark of a 1 in here, and the other one's got a 2, and so does the other one, but I'm not sure what... it doesn't say in there what that's supposed to designate, so... You're like, sure it does. Well, no, it doesn't. Just says place the bases of the 4 legs 5 and 6 into the corners of the lower tray. And as far as which one's left and right, it just doesn't really say. I mean, it shows pictures of left and right, but it doesn't show you that there's a marking on the leg anywhere. So. Just curious about something. Okay. All right, one more leg. Again, it's got a thing that slides down in there. Pretty secure by the time you put those bolts in there. Alright, so the casters, as long as you got 2 on the front and 2 on the rear, I mean you can switch those around as depending whether you want the moving casters on the front or the rear. I'm going to put the casters on first. Again, just make sure you get 2 of the swivel ones on one end and 2 of the solid ones on the other. Unless, I mean, you could put a couple of swivel ones, you know, on the side here if you had the cart, you know, kind of primarily like this and you wanted to move it around. Just, you know, you could change them up if you want, but that's basically how it's supposed to go, so. And these carriage bolts here are meant to go down through here. You can see the square right here. Just 1 washer and 1 nut. And again, no wrench, so I'm going to have to go grab a wrench in a minute here. I was just looking, one of these holes here is too small for this bolt. And it's like that on all these wheels here. On this corner up here, it's just a little bit too small. So I'm not sure. I might just have to pound it through there. Yeah, it's just a little tight. You just got to wiggle it and push. You're going to have to tighten this down a little bit with this nut before you can put the washer on there. Because this bolt head here is a little bit, the square on it's a little bit too big for the square in the hole. So you'll just have to fiddle around with that, but you can get 3 of them in there and you're good to go. Get 3 of them in there, you don't even need to mess with the 4th one, but that 4th one, if you have a plastic drill bit or something around, or just a drill bit, you can just kind of drill that hole a little bit bigger. Okay. Come over here and do this one. I'm just going to take the camera off of here real quick and show you what I'm talking about. And right there, if you can see those holes there, that one up in that corner there is smaller than the other ones. And it's just because of the way it's came out of the mold, so it just needs to be enlarged. You could probably smash it down with a hammer, smash through there with a hammer, just drill it a little bit bigger. But anyways, that's what I'm doing, so. Going as planned. So this one got on there cross-threaded, and now I can't get it off because that's what happens. Shit. Just gonna go ahead and put this top one in here. So I'm going to put this nut on here without the washer because for some reason this is just tight on this end. These aren't wanting to go on here as smoothly as the other, so I got to try and tighten this down a little bit so I can get this other nut off of here. All right, hold on. I got to figure out how to get that off of there. Okay, so I'm just going to put a pair of pliers on this head. I can grab it like that. And then just put the socket on here. And get it off there. Now I can try and get it on there the right way, because I got this one on here. And I'm going to have to put these pliers on this head a little bit, because when it started spinning it kind of wallered that square hole out that's supposed to hold that carriage bolt in there. So no big deal, no problem, everything's fine, nothing to see here. Well, we're good. And it just went ahead and started grabbing, again, that square part as I tightened it down, so it's fine. Okay, let's flip this thing over and see what I got to take apart again and put back together right. That's usually how it goes, right? Okay. Always a good idea to put your blade back in or set your utility knife aside when you're done with it. And don't put it in your pocket. You gotta get out of the habit of putting stuff like that in your pocket. Okay. Our top here does not look like it really cares which way it goes on. I guess we'll find out, right? Okay. Well, and just put the screws in there, so that seems easy enough. Alright. That's just an uphill battle using the wrong size Phillips head. Okay. Well, one of those in each corner, and then I'll flip it over. Somebody remind me not to do these cart assembly videos when it's no cart assembly videos after 5 p.m. Because things start getting weird around 5 p.m. over here. These screws are really soft, so you got to have a good bit for them or they just get eaten right up. All right. Okay. So, I just gotten done putting the rest of these screws in here, and then the camera kind of shut off, so that is what it is. The last but not least, I'm going to put the handle on here. This looks pretty straightforward. It looks pretty straightforward if you take these legs off. It's pretty straightforward. I gotta unscrew these, just the front two here. These things happen, especially after 5 p.m. I must have missed that in the instructions. It's really easy to miss stuff in instructions because if you only look through them a time or two, I mean, it's not like you're used to reading them every day, right? And you kind of see how stuff's supposed to go. And so you just take off on your own little path. Trying to make a quicker, shorter video than the last one and ending up doing the same thing pretty much. So, yeah, that's all right. Okay, I should just be able to lift up on this here and sneak this in there. That's the plan. Just like that. There. There we go. That should be it. And I'll just put these screws back in and we're good to go. So that wasn't too bad as far as mistakes go and having to take stuff apart and put it back together. Definitely could have been worse. Again, these screws are really soft, so be cautious with them. And the torque on these is pretty much when they quit turning pounds. So when they quit turning, or when they won't turn anymore because there's no more material left in there. Okay. All right, I think we're good to go here. Okay. And there we go. All right. So, yeah, that looks pretty sturdy. You definitely have a pretty good size work surface here. I mean, depending on what you want, you could definitely use this for, you know, if you're doing electrical work or you could definitely use this for kind of a mobile workbench or, you know, probably a variety of other things too. So, anyways, let's see, what was the number on this again? Yeah, the Franklin 58323 service card. Thanks for watching. Stick with me till the next episode. Shane, Gemini Garage.